Brian, you spent 6 years here in Jokerit. Now that this period is ending, how are you looking back at these times?
Yeah, it's been a place that has turned into my home, and a place where I've started a family, and a place where I've really grown as a player and a person. So when I look back on these past 6 years, it's something that will always bring a happy memory for myself and my family, and something I'll be forever grateful for. And we'll see what the future holds, but it's hard to beat Helsinki and Jokerit.
Terrible things obviously happening in Ukraine right now. How do you kind of reflect on this situation? It's just hockey is such a small thing right now, but this team is no more. This is the end for this team. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, I think that situation is so sad on so many levels and very political, but in terms of the organization and the players, I think everyone has expectations, and that is where most people derive their happiness from. So when you expect to be at a certain place in the future, or expect a certain organization to be available to play for in the future, to have that taken away in such fashion is devastating for sure. It's been a tough 2 months after the season for me personally, and a lot of the players. I know they're really devastated not having the chance to play for Jokerit next year, and something I don't think you ever really get over. I think you obviously move on. My situation in the grand scheme of things isn't bad. I'm very fortunate in so many ways and so grateful, but the expectation of playing here for the next 2 years and maybe finishing my career here was something I had in the back of my mind. So not having an opportunity to do so is crushing for sure. And I don't know if I would have been able to do this interview 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. It takes time for sure, and I won't get over it ever, but you got to move on.
Yeah, that was a very emotional moment in the locker room when everything was announced a few months ago. Can you go back to that? What was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, it's tough to talk about, but yeah, it's just like I couldn't talk about it in the present back then, and like I said, it'll take time to heal what's happening, but like I said, you got to move on, and I'm very fortunate as a hockey player and as a human being, so nothing to feel sorry for.
Yeah, 6 years. What are the best memories you take from here with you?
Yeah, on the ice, some of the big games, beating Seska in the playoffs, winning in overtime against Sochi when Ellie scored that wraparound goal, and then some big games in the regular season for sure. But off the ice is where you remember the most on those long road trips, and I don't know how many hours of plane rides I've been on the last 6 years, but developing intimate relationships with 20, 30, 40 people over my time here has been special, and it's really helped me grow as a person. And those road trips, that quality time you spend together with some really successful, bright human beings, that's been awesome.
Jokerit has now announced that the club has the objective to return to the Finnish league in 23-24. How do you see the future for this club?
Yeah, I think a lot to be excited about. Obviously, who knows where allegiances lied the last couple of years, especially with some fans not being happy we were in the KHL, and I understand that for sure. So I think maybe you guys are giving them what they wanted, and I think with the brand Jokerit has, the appeal Jokerit has, the future is extremely bright, and like you were talking about earlier, the depth of all the junior teams from 16 and under, 18 and under, 20 and under is really strong. So I think that's where you'll build your foundation, and Helsinki obviously being located in such a great city like Helsinki, it's going to be very appealing for foreign players or imports to come and play and bring a family. So a lot to be excited about, I'm sure.
Some players calls you and asks for recommendations about Jokerit. What will you tell them?
Yeah, just the big, like hockey's hockey. Everywhere you go, most organizations treat guys similarly. For me, at least, a lot of it's dependent upon the coaching staff and the rest of the staff, and obviously the core players there. But then again, like I said, it's similar everywhere. The biggest thing is you talk about the city. Most guys, most imports probably have a family, or at least a wife. So there aren't too many better places to bring a family in Europe, and that's the biggest selling point, because a lot of people don't realize at the end of the day, the wife or fiance or girlfriend has a lot of say, and they should, because those individuals are so important to a player's success.
What does the future hold in store for you?
Yeah, I'm excited about the future. Obviously disappointed the way things ended here, and that's out of my control for sure. And I feel like every year I've gotten a little bit better, and I feel great physically, and I have a lot to give the sport of hockey still, which I'm excited about, especially as a player. And we'll see where I end up, but it'll be a new challenge and a place where I'll be a little bit out of my comfort zone, which is a great thing, I think, for me. I've been in my comfort zone for at least 3 or 4 years here now. Still growing as a player, but sometimes it's good to seek new challenges and have new things thrown at you. So this will be a welcomed opportunity.
Is it too early to talk about possible return to Jokerit for Mr. Helsinki?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and a very complex one. Never say never, obviously, but the type of player I am, and I believe the type of person I am, wherever I go, I'm gonna be all in, and hopefully things go well. I'm confident they will, and we'll see where they go from there. But the way I play and the way I am off the ice, it's hard for me to play the way I want unless I'm all in. So it's tough to say if the opportunity will arise for me to return to Jokerit, but never say never.
Finally, Brian, you've been such a special player for this club and for the fans. What do you want to tell the fans at this point?
Yeah, I think just I think when I first got here, I really struggled, and people were hard on me for sure, but I think the culture that the fans created, and making hockey such an important part of Jokerit and Jokerit's history, it really motivated me to want to be a better player. And I think you've seen that over the last 5-6 years, is where I've gotten a little better every year, and a lot of that's because of my motivation to want to, number one, please the fans, but be a part of the environment that the fans create, because at the end of the day, that's what sports is about, the fans. If there were no fans, it wouldn't be that appealing to be a professional athlete. Obviously, I love hockey, but fans make it special, and especially here. So, thanks to the fans.